Hey everyone, this is SIG Scalability meeting, 12 October 2023. And Nathan, you said that you have some issue that you would like to discuss, right?
Yes, yeah. So it's kind of a follow-up from last week's discussion. There's this issue where when API server is writing a response back to client, the timeout's not respected, and it looks like there's an open PR from Abu that should address this for both lists and watches. There's a related issue we saw where when listing from storage, the timeout's also not respected. I'm wondering if I should open a new upstream issue for this, or maybe I could comment on the details here and get some more feedback. Um, but essentially, it looks like in addition to writing the when the response is being written back to the client, there's a similar issue where the timeout's not respected when listing from etcd, and that can result in requests taking over 1 minute.
Oh yeah, I think it's similar issue, right? Like so the context is not passed through, right? To the etcd reader.
Yeah,
But that's only if you're reading from the etcd, I think, right?
so it looks we saw this when listing a large number of CRDs. So it looks like API server itself had to fetch 2 pages from etcd, and then processing each of the pages took around 50 seconds. So we're thinking it's when we're decoding the CRDs, the context isn't respected during that part of the response. We have seen the context be respected when there's a large number of pages. So like in cases where we have to fetch like 100 pages from etcd, and each page takes a short duration to process, it seems like it is respected in that stage. But when the decoding is taking a long time, it looks like it has to wait for the decoding to finish before the timeout would be respected.
Oh, okay. So you're saying that the decoding is blocking, right? So decoding, but decoding on the server side?
Or on the client side. So here's the corresponding trace message. So it's like listing from storage, and it says fetch all pages from etcd, page count 2. And like to fetch those 2 pages, it's taking 1 minute 41 seconds. So it looks like it's taking around 50 seconds per page.
Let me copy paste it. This is this is listing from etcd, but there is no limit, right?
So the limit should be using 2000 CRD objects at a time. And then I believe there's also roughly 5,000 CRD objects. So the page count seems consistent with us using fetching 2,000 CRDs at a time.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like, but this is not the default, right? I think.
Yes, yeah. So there, EKS has an internal patch where if pagination isn't used in the API server request, will default to still paginating API server to etcd requests. Um, I mean, the timeout behavior shouldn't depend on this internal patch. Like it should be the same regardless. Like one way to replicate this would be to pass 2000 as part of the API server request, and then the API server to etcd request would use 2000, and then that should result in an equivalent behavior even without the patch.
So one thing I would like to ask is, okay, so this is from so this log says that okay, the listing took a lot of time, right? But are you sure that the response to the client was not returned after the timeout, which is like 1 minute? Because there's like separate coroutine. So even though like the read from etcd might have been stuck for whatever time it is, then still there's a separate coroutine that should be able to return the response to the client with timeout.
I believe the overall request got a 504. I'd have to double check the audit log
Oh,
entry.
okay.
I have the or at least the latency annotations for the request present. I'd have to pull up the full request, but
Oh, okay.
the total.
I see. Yeah.
So the total latency was captured as a minute 41. And then like the overall etcd latency is just a second. Which looks like it's not capturing decoding. So one other follow-up might be to add more latency annotations that kind of capture what part of listing from storage is taking long.
Yeah, so I think like, okay, so if the latency was like over 1 minute and you have cluster configured to have like the default timeout of 1 minute, then definitely something was wrong, right? Yeah, I think it's really worth debugging because as I mentioned, like there should be a separate coroutine that returns in case like even if the request to etcd is slow, then it should kick off and basically return 4 to 9, I think, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems like a different issue. I mean, I checked it briefly, what you discussed, because I was on PTO during the last meeting, but yeah, it sounds reasonable, I think.
Okay, so I'll open a different ticket just because this timeout issue seems different than the existing one, and I don't think the open PR would address this one.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Okay, cool, thanks.
Do we have any other topics to discuss?
So so I have a pending PRs want to get some more attention on the review side.
Yeah.
So this
okay.
Yeah. So let me also paste that in the agenda doc. Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
Yes. Yeah. This has been discussed before, and so I think last time Walltech is supportive for adding this, and so this was open a while ago, and I was on PTO for a while, and then finally get back and kind of rework on this and trying to get some attentions on this one to get review and probably merge sometime.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sounds good. I will take a look, and I will also pull some people who were looking into that before.
Okay, sounds great. Thanks.
Okay. Do we have anything else? Then I guess we can finish the meeting. Thank you all for coming, and see you in 2 weeks. Bye.
Cool. Thanks.
Thanks.